My name is Miguel Sanchez, and I'll be explaining how we created the matrix for the Sudoku puzzle. So we started out with a pre-made puzzle that worked out, that fit all the criteria for a Sudoku. And then from there we broke it up into, first we broke it up into three different sections of 9x3s by column. And from those three different groups, we then split the columns into individual columns, and we shuffled those. And the function we used for that was rand_perm with some if-else statements. Basically, depending on what the number that the random function spit out, it would shuffle it a certain way. And then we did the same thing, then we put it all back together after it was shuffled. And then we did the same thing for rows. We split it up into rows and then shuffled those rows. And the reason we kept it into groups of three was so that the criteria for this Sudoku wasn't broken.
Hi, my name is Greg Rue. I'm going to talk to you about the puzzle solver. So what we did is we took each row, column, and 3x3 subgrid, and we took the sums of those, and we made a true-false statement that if the sum equaled 45, then it would display a 1. If it didn't equal 45, then it would display a 0. And then we took the sums of the true-false statements, and if it equaled 27, then that means that the puzzle was solved correctly. If it did not equal 27, that means the puzzle was solved incorrectly.
So my name is Nathan Armendariz. I was responsible for the GUI layout. What we have here is a layout of our GUI was. We had 9 subgrids, and then we had 3 push buttons and a static text box. Our first push button was a new game push button. Every time you push new game, it will generate a new puzzle with randomly selected blank spaces. Now the blank spaces were randomly selected by using rand_perm and for loops and if-else statements. And then our second box is our check box, or our reset box, which will reset the values if the puzzle is incorrect or if you want to restart your puzzle. Our third box is our check box, which will check the puzzle if it is completed. And it will give you a description down here whether the puzzle is completed or not. And also the puzzle has to be completely filled in order to check the puzzle.
It's Greg and Miguel again, and we're going to talk about the testing and the debugging of our Sudoku puzzle. So basically we just ran it several times, made sure that the puzzle generated new numbers and new boxes every time, and everything worked out, and then we solved it a few times. But we did encounter a problem where you can't really tell which numbers were generated by the puzzle and which numbers you had inputted, since they're both edit texts. And Greg's going to talk about how we solved that problem.
So how we solved that is we went into where the random numbers were selected, made blank, and we changed all those backgrounds to yellow. So now that when the new puzzle comes up, there'll be blank spaces, and those blank spaces backgrounds will be yellow. But when we did that, we encountered a problem that when you press new game, the spaces remained yellow, so there would be additional spaces that were yellow. So what we did was then we had to, every time you press new game, it changes the background of all the spaces to white.